Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy
And
Bryce.
we are brothers on tennis. And folks, we have come to, what did you call it, Bryce?
End of the road.
Boy Smith, shout out.
Yeah.
Yes, we have come to the end of the tennis season 2021. Bryce, it's been a eventful, incredible 2021, brother. How are you feeling, man?
I'm exhausted, man, because and let me tell you what, I think because of COVID, of course, schedules got changed and tournaments were during times of the year that they aren't normally. And, things were back to back and, it was good. It was good that the sport was able to continue and to thrive. But, if you're covering the sport, you can only imagine how the players feel in a year, right? Because they're going from tournament to tournament. And when they're not playing, they're pretty much practicing. And, you get to the end of the year, like we're getting ready to do. And you'll have a couple of weeks off?
I know, basically you get 2 weeks off and then it's like, okay, here's the new year.
Exactly. So this is a great sport that we have and we love it to death, but I think I really, really understand now what the players meant by there's truly no off season for tennis.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right, brother. Yeah, the minute you're done, you're kind of in the gym trying to bulk up or get your fitness right for the next year. And like I said, it's only really truly about 4 to 6 weeks that you have. And yeah, that's about it. But it's been a great season, though. It's been really, really some great storylines, a lot of great tennis that we have seen, and just looking forward and hoping for an even higher level going into 2022.
And speaking of 2022, this is going to be our last episode for the year. Now, what we mean by that is this is the last episode that we're going to be recording and talking about weekly results because everything's basically done now. Today we're going to talk about, the next gen finals. On the men's side, we're going to talk about the women's year-ending championship. We're going to talk about the men's year-ending championship. But other than world tennis kind of going on, and, world tennis is almost kind of like, it's a level above exhibition status, I guess, maybe. We're not going to be recording any more episodes, but we are not going to leave you without content because we have a slew of interviews we're about to hit you with. So some of them you're just going to absolutely love. So look forward to that. At least, one interview per week at least?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, we'll see how many we do and how many, of course, we, it definitely will be one a week.
So anyway, it's been a good season. A good year for not only tennis, but for Brothers on Tennis. And so we're trying to work on things now for 2022 to continue to expand the brand, to continue to bring you guys tennis in a different capacity, in a different manner than you're used to getting it. And hopefully we continue to have fun with it. You guys continue to have fun listening to it. 2022 is looking bright.
That's right. Very bright. All right.
So speaking of bright, Mr. Isaac, let's talk about our future, and we won't go into the whole Whitney Houston, song. But, we had the Next Gen tournament that happened about a week ago. And
we did.
So let's go ahead and pat ourselves on the back, even though it wasn't a real big thing to be proud of. I think we called from day one when we saw who was in the tournament. I think we called the final result. We said it's going to be Alcaraz versus Korda, and Alcaraz is going to win.
That is what we said. Yes.
So I don't know what you want to say about that.
Come on for the predictions. How about those predictions? No, I mean, it you know what? It was a really, really, really nice tournament for the young folks, the young ones. and they battled hard. I think there were definitely some surprises that Sebastian Baez, he showed up and showed out, because remember, he was the one. I think he was the one where of the other three. The four. Three, because we knew Gaston. We didn't know Rune, and we didn't know really the Cerundolo. At least I didn't.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't too familiar with them, but I'm familiar with Sebastian Baez now, because he got up in there and he really, really showed his game. It was really nice to see.
He did, and you know what? And although Gaston took 3 L's, he had good matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
He played really well. He should feel as good as you can feel taking 3 L's.
Absolutely. Yeah, and coming out of that Paris run that he had, he should be extremely confident going into his off season. That was really nice.
Right. So, like we said, and when we knew that Center wasn't playing, we knew FAA wasn't playing. Based upon current form, there just was nobody that was on Alcaraz's level.
Right. Yeah. He gave some pretty decent beatdowns. I mean, he beat down Baez pretty good in the semis, and like I said, straight sets in the final. So you definitely, the guy has got some confidence right now. So he and Juan Carlos and his team, they are going to be going into the off season, the very short off season. But they are going to be looking to really make some additional advancements so that he can come out and produce even better results going into 2022.
And I'm going to tell you who else had a good tournament was Brandon Nakashima.
Yes, he did.
He won 2 of his 3 matches, and if you've been paying attention, he's been winning more consistently lately, winning outside of World Team Tennis. So, and we know that there are a couple of pros that are very, very excited about him. So I think coming out of the next gen, Alcaraz, Korda, Nakashima, and really Gaston, even with the 3 L's, were the 3 that I really walked away saying, they might all do something. I still think something's going on with Musetti right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
And he can snap out of it, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but he didn't have as good of a second half of the year as he had of the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My thing with Musetti is I think he's going to be a bit like Roger and like Dimitrov, in the sense that he's got a lot of tools and a very creative mind. He's going to have to figure out what his A game versus B game versus C game is going to be. Being on the tour, because I think people are just able to kind of pick him apart right now because he hasn't established what his true style is and how to switch between the different variations that he can have. So it's going to take him a little bit longer, but I agree with you. I think he's kind of in a little slump, a little funk. But hopefully this little downtime will get him right, and he can come back and produce some good results going into the new year.
And let me just add this before we get off of the next gen tournament. I am really excited about Alcaraz. I know we've mentioned this before, and shout out to Linnell and her, Nadal's Dungeon Boy guy. Every time I see him, I think about her comment. But, from where we initially thought he was just going to be a clay courter to where we originally thought we weren't going to really see much out of him for maybe a couple of years. He has broken out of all of that. And I think he's somebody players probably don't want to face.
No. I agree with you 100%. And I think what you're seeing is, like you just said, it's that Nadal work ethic. He is he looks to be a very disciplined young man. And again, like I said, I have mad respect for Juan Carlos Ferrero. So if he's working with you, that means you know how to work. And again, that is the reason why he and Lendl left Zverev. But really and truly, I do see a very bright future for him. And like you said, I think he's going to be a force on all surfaces. And that's the one thing that with Nadal, when he initially came out, there were some questions. Of course, he was the king of clay, but there was always that kind of transition that he would have to do for grass and for hard courts. I don't think that that's going to be the case for Alcaraz. I think he's going to be able to very easily transition between the surfaces and win.
Right. I totally agree. So shout out to the Next Gen tournament. Went exactly the way we thought it was going to go. And let's see if Alcaraz can make it to the regular year-end finals next year.
All right. Come on.
All right. So let's bounce over to the ladies now.
Yeah, let's talk the ladies.
Right. So for the women, we had their year-ending championships down there in Guadalajara, Mexico. Yes. And I believe going into this tournament, the word on the curb was Muguruza had never lost to Mexico before.
Correct.
So as we looked at the two groupings they had, one of your initial predictions was you thought the finals was going to be Kontaveit and Badosa.
I did.
And I'll be daggone if they weren't two of the four semifinalists.
Yeah. Badosa fought a good fight, but I think when she got to her countrywoman and Muguruza was like, you realize I haven't lost here in this country, right? And you're my countrywoman, so I got them things for you, right? Right. So she very, very dominantly took out my girl Badosa. But man, Badosa had a great tournament. I mean, she really, really played some good tennis. And again, outside of the L she took to Swiatek, which is okay because Swiatek, she was trying to get herself right, and it was nice for her, in my opinion, to get a victory. But I do feel like Badosa had a really nice tournament and afforded herself well for being in the WTA finals for the first time.
Absolutely. And then in the other section, you had Kontaveit, who, ran through the good Pliskova, ran through Krejcikova, who, by the way, Krejcikova, I think she was just done. I think she had played so much tennis this year, singles and doubles. Yeah. I just don't feel she had the legs in the singles.
Well, and remember, she played doubles at the finals as well.
We'll
talk about that, because she did good there.
and I think wasn't she the only person in the finals that also played the Billie Jean King Cup?
Correct. So she did too much. When you're like, you doing too much. Yeah,
you're doing too much.
You're doing too much, baby girl. You're doing too much. You should have told the Billie Jean King Cup, hey, y'all can get along without me. I'm going to peace out and I'm going to go get me some rest right now because I got these singles and doubles that I need to play at the WTA finals. And I think they would have understood that.
Right.
Yeah, but I think you're so right, Bryce. I just don't think she had the legs for both of those competitions.
Right. But now what was interesting is in their group play, Kontaveit lost to Muguruza, and we've seen so many times that when a match goes one way in the round robin,
right,
if they meet in the semis or the finals, so many times it goes the other way. But
that's right.
Not this time. Because Kontaveit had a great win in the semis, nice 3-set win over Sakkari, but we know this is about the time in a tournament that Sakkari bows out. And then, she got in the finals with Kontaveit, and it was a nice match, 6-3, 7-5, but she's still undefeated in Mexico.
She is. I mean, and she really played a very aggressive, dominant final, and she wasn't afraid. I mean, she went out there and she took that match because neither of the players played badly. It was just Muguruza was just too strong for her on the day. Right.
Yeah. So shout out to you, Muguruza, because you know what? Why I'm happy for her is because there were some points this year where she didn't step up. Because remember, she started the year very strong. And then, she just kind of faltered a little bit throughout the year. But then, she definitely ended on a high note.
Right, right. It's similar to some of the other players, like your Sakkari's and your what's my girl Sabalenka. She can be a little bit questionable at towards the end of a tournament, and this to me showed that she was really able to get over the finish line, because that's what Annette Kontaveit has been doing for the last month and a half, 2 months. Is she's just been putting it down, and she's been running past the finish line, not even stumbling. And I think that for Muguruza, this may set her up for a really nice 2022 run, because I've just seen her in the past be very fragile when it comes to the latter part of a tournament. Because remember, I don't even think she has 10 tournaments as far as wins, which is dumb because, like I said, she's beaten our girls in 2 Grand Slam finals. So for you to only have about 10 titles, WTA titles, that's a little off balance. And that means that you're not getting it done towards the end of tournaments. So hopefully this will be a little bit of a change for her, and she can really get in there in 2022 and get a few more tournament victories, as she should, because she has that talent.
Yeah, she's definitely got the game.
Yeah.
That's no question there. So I have an omission in the doubles.
Yeah, man.
So, shout out to the top 4 seeds making it to the semifinals. I mean, they all did their thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but why come the number 2 seed? So you had to have done something throughout the year to be the number 2 seed at the year-ending championships, right? You can't. They don't just give that to anybody, right? You had to have won some matches, right?
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Why come? I looked at those names, Shabahama and Ayamama. I mean, I was like, who?
I know. Me too.
Wait a minute. I have a tennis podcast show that I do weekly. You may have heard of it. It's called Brothers on Tennis.
Right? Come on now.
And I ain't heard of Shabahama and Ayamama at all. I didn't know. I didn't know if they were. I didn't know if they were juniors or if this was a senior tour. And Kamiko Date was about to come out from the back. I mean, how did I miss an entire year of them basically having beat almost everybody, right, to get the number 2 seed,
right?
And I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, this is a classic case of sneaking under the radar, if I were to say, because I don't think that they got a lot of media coverage. And I think that because of that, we just never heard many of the announcers talking about him, and therefore we weren't even talking about him. So, but I did go back because I agree with you, Bryce. I was kind of like, they're number 2? I mean, I had, no, don't get me wrong. I had heard of them, and, I've seen some results from them. I was like, they're doing their thing, but I did not, there is no way that if you had said, what is the number 2 seed, that I would have put them as the number. I thought they might have been 8, like they might have snuck in on the back end of things.
Right.
They was like, man, please. we own this thing. We number 2, right?
Right.
But bruh, yeah, I saw them, and that actually made me giggle inside, because I was like, shame on you for not even knowing that these 2 girls were the number 2 players in the world.
Well, let me tell you who else didn't know they were the number 2 players in the world, and that was Shea Shui and Elise Mertens when they drove them by the bakery and gave them 2 whole biscuits in the semifinals and said, go and get out of here.
Go on, get out of here. We ain't trying to play with you.
Right. Big names only in here.
Thank you. Big names only.
So, so shout out to them for making it to the semifinals. But the finals ended up being the 2 teams that I thought should have been in the finals.
We should have been 1 and 2.
I didn't know Shea Shui and Mertens were number 3. But, and I do think Krejcikova and Siniakova, they should have won, and they did.
Yeah. Most definitely. And they did. I mean, they have had an outstanding year. They play well together, good, aggressive tennis. It's funny that Siniakova, she just plays a really good, aggressive doubles game. I like her doubles game a lot.
Right.
I really, really do. And it's a good compliment to Krejcikova because, again, her strokes are very clean. She's got that good power, very deceptive. I just think that they are an outstanding doubles team. And like I said, they proved it because they was like, hey, give us our hardware.
Right. So, look, if you're going to take 3 L's in a singles, at least take the doubles title.
Exactly. Yeah. She was like, yeah, I ain't worried about the singles. I'm about to lift up my title in these doubles and get my coins there. Because can't none of y'all do that.
Now, I need for her and Karatsev to go sit down somewhere.
They need to, because they too
Right.
busy.
And
They too
now I have
busy.
seen footage that Karatsev is on vacation. He owns some island or whatever. So
Very
good for him. Krachikova needs to go to an island too and recharge
Yes.
and renew and refresh before the start of the 22 season. Because those two, every time you looked up,
They
they were
played a
playing.
lot.
And that ends up affecting your results.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we saw when Andy Murray was going after number one that year and he played all them tournaments at the end. He was done going into the next season.
Yeah.
Done. Baked.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, you got to take that down. You got to take some time off, get your downtime in. So, hopefully, they are doing what you were saying. And we'll be able to tell because if they come out there and they start taking them L's early, we can be like, y'all didn't go sit down.
Yeah, and it's funny. I just saw Miles's comment that
Okay.
it already feels like the tennis season is about to start next week.
I know it really does, which is
You
just
know,
way too soon.
because this whole December swing is going to be gone before you know it. And you know what? I don't have the information in front of me, but we already know that you've got women, some people from the women's tour going down for that exhibition in South Africa next
That
month. And you
exhibition.
got Venus
That's
going,
right.
you got Sloane Stevens going, you got Martina Hingis going. You know, I forgot who else is going, but
Mm-hmm.
like they said, they don't even really relax in the off season because they're making that coin on that exhibition circuit.
Correct. It's crazy. And then I'm looking at Miles's question here as far as the longer off season. I mean I've always been a big advocate for it. I always compare all sports actually to football. I love football. And I feel like they do the best, in my opinion, of balancing between off season and actual, preseason and the regular season playoffs. I just feel like they allow enough time for you to get real hungry for the sport again. And because when
Right.
that July August time frame rolls around, it's like football time, it's coming,
Right.
and I
Right.
don't think that you get enough downtime to miss tennis. And is that good? Is it bad? I guess it just depends on each individual's perspective. But for me, I do actually wish there were a longer off season. How about you, Bryce? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Or at least that they restructure it somehow, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I understand the players that are not ranked in the top 50 to 100, you know, they need to play because they need to make some money, right? They need
Right.
to live,
They need
right?
to make them
So I
coins.
almost feel
Right.
like maybe there's even a circuit that plays during a certain
Mm-hmm.
part, like the back end of the final quarter of the year, right, or something like that. And it's for players you can't be
Yeah.
ranked inside the top 100, right? I mean, there needs to be
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
where I'm
Yeah.
always interested in ideas that help try to spread the wealth in the sport, right? We don't
Right.
need anything more for the
Right.
people, and I'm going to say top 100 because from what I understand, if you're in the top 100,
Yeah.
you're okay, right?
Yeah. You
But you
making some
have
decent coin.
people.
Yep.
We were looking at somebody's ranking the other day. I'm not gonna call their name out because I kind of like them a little bit.
Yeah.
But their singles ranking was like 1,000 and something. And I was like, I didn't even know it was that many people ranked. You know, I start tuning out when they get below 150. And
Right. Exactly.
so, like somebody in the 1,000s,
Yeah. No.
you know, that's an interesting thing. So, well, anyway, we're not going to get hung up on that. So, wonderful women's tour, year-ending tournament. I
Yes.
mean, Muguruza with the singles title, Krejcikova and Siniakova with the doubles title, and shout out to all three of them.
Shout out. Shout
So,
out.
Isaac.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
the Let's go to the men's doubles
Okay, there we
at
go.
the finals, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but we've been talking about Mektic and Pavic all season long because they've been
all season
crushing it all season long. But I think once again,
correct.
Here's another example of a team that played so much, and it's tough because when you're playing a tournament and you're winning, you are playing the maximum number of matches that week. And because they won 9-10 titles this year, I felt like we saw their decline in the last part of the year.
We did. I agree with you. Yeah. I just think that, like you said, I think that they were, it was a little bit of the energy, reserves were in play. I think teams were, kind of getting, used to playing them as well. But overall, I think it was them not having as much energy to be able to close things out. But with all of that being said, they still had an outstanding dominant 2021.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, they did not need the year-ending championships to lock up number one team for the year. Right. They had done that by July.
Yeah, we could. Exactly.
But I tell you what, who they don't want to see every time they not on the A game,
right,
is your boy Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury. they love taking advantage of a subpar Mektic and Pavic.
They do, and they've gotten them a few times, and again, they apparently appreciate and like that matchup. So yeah, kudos to them. And like I said, they are a strong team, man. Rahm and Salisbury, I like that tandem. I like those two. They play some good ball together. If I look at my teams that I really enjoy watching, again, Mektic and Pavic, it would be Salisbury and Rahm. And I still, of course, like Murray and Suarez. I just like their combo. I was actually disappointed when they broke up, but very happy that they got back together this year. But those are my teams, and you can't be mad at the eventual champions as well, Mahut and Pierre Herbert. They've been off and on forever, it seems, and Herbert even kicked him to the curb and was like, "I got to focus on my singles." But guess who came back?
Well, right. Well, but let me tell you something. I was surprised to read when they said Joe Salisbury was the first Brit to make it to the year-end championship finals in doubles. I was like, Jamie Murray has never done it?
I was about to say Murray hadn't been there. That's
I was surprised to see that. And I guess, of course, Murray has made it to the year-end championships numerous times. But I guess he's never made it to the finals.
Never made it to the final to compete for the title, huh?
And who knows?
I would not have guessed that.
Who knows? Maybe he was always taking L to the Bryan brothers, and I don't know.
Right.
But I was surprised that distinction went to Joe Salisbury and Jamie Murray hadn't been that person already.
Yeah, you and me both. That is very surprising.
But like you were saying, going back to what you were saying, Bear and Mahut, you know what? I love it how Mahut, whenever they win a big title, he always looks like he is so surprised. Like,
he does.
How did this happen?
How did I do that?
We fooled him again. But they are such a good team, and they play so well together, and just props to them for taking the title.
Absolutely. And you got to love, Mahou was the one that was always had his kids running down on the court, giving them a hug. And now Pierre got his little baby up on the little cup. I was like, that's very cool. Very nice. I like that.
Yeah. So that was a good tournament. So
yes,
let's transition to the singles over here.
The fellas on the singles, man, bonkers, dude. Bonkers.
Now, the two people we thought would go 3-0 went 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, we really thought the final was going to be Djokovic and Medvedev. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak for you. I did.
Did I? Well, you know what? So I did actually have Zverev taking out Joker. in the semis, but I actually had Medvedev winning. So my surprise was Zverev got up in there. He was like, you know what? I'm tired of you beating on me. And we're going to rectify this today. Yeah.
Well, before we get there.
There's a lot going on in this whole thing to talk about. That is for sure.
All right. So first of all, Medvedev handled his business right. He went through. He did what he needed to do, and got to the finals. Zverev meeting Djokovic in the semifinals, which is like once again this rematch of the Olympics, the match that stopped Djokovic's run for the Golden Slam. I guess I just thought in my mind, and maybe this just speaks to how well Zverev is playing, or if there's a mental thing going on with Djokovic now. I just would have thought after that L, he would have beaten Zverev about 6 or 7 times in a row convincingly after that.
Right.
Convincingly. Right. I mean, I just would have thought that's what Djokovic would have done. But apparently Zverev is like, dude, I am immune to whatever you are throwing out. I can hit you off the court at will. The matches can be tight. I'm not going to crack because I got confidence against you. I think Djokovic is getting to the point where he checking the draw to see where Zverev is in the draw.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's doing the same thing with Medi as well. But I agree with you. I think that he's actually got a serious fear of meeting up with Zverev. And it's funny because Djokovic has seen this before. He always had to basically go through Nadal and Federer to be able to win a championship. Now I think he's going to have to go through Zverev and Medvedev to win a championship.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and of course, I personally love to see it. But, I think what we're starting to see now is that 1-2 battle, I think is going to clearly be between Medvedev and Zverev. Because Tsitsipas, whether it's his bathroom breaks or what's going on with his daddy or his elbow, he's going to always have some other storyline going on with him.
Correct.
I do think if we can get a healthy team back, he's in that circle as well.
But you know what's interesting, and I think this is a matchup thing. I think Team, if he can get back to 100%, I do see Team having some really strong battles with Zverev. But for whatever reason, I just think Medvedev will smack Team up. I see Dominic having a very hard time getting through Medvedev's defense, unless it's Clay. Clay. I think, of course, Clay, he will be like, oh yeah, here, come on here, son. But if you put him on hard courts, and who knows about grass, I'm still kind of indifferent with both of them on grass. But hard court, I think he is going to struggle mightily to get through Medvedev.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about the finals. I mean, so, you and I had both picked Medvedev to win. Why didn't he?
What's interesting, Bryce? I just think that, again, best 2 out of 3. So Zverev, not tired. I think he fought a strong fight against Djokovic. And I think his confidence was really high because I think he was looking at it like, okay, now I done stopped the number 1 player on multiple occasions. And you know what, Medi, I done you some favors. So I already took him out. I at least took a ton of energy out of him for that U.S. Open that allowed you to really have an easy time getting your win and getting your Grand Slam title. I think he just went in there with mad confidence. And I just feel like it was a faster court. So, of course, it's really harder to defend on a fast indoor hard court. And I think he finally just said, I'm going, I'm going out. I'm a hit and I'm a hit strong. And Zverev has enough power to get through Medvedev's defense on a fast hard court. So that's my at least evaluation of the matches.
Right.
I think he had confidence and he went out there and he swung out. And because of that, he was able to take the match. Now, you saw the match. I'd love to see or hear what your thoughts were on that matchup.
You know what? I really can't, say anything different than what you've said. Medvedev is a little bit like Djokovic, meaning he can play well and still lose if you hit him off the court. Now, granted, for both of those guys, Djokovic and Medvedev, that's a tall task. Right. Your average bear ain't going to go out there and hit Djokovic nor Medvedev off the court. But for that select few that can on their, like when it's their day and they can, your Karatsevs, your Zverev, your maybe a team, it's only probably a handful of them that can do it. And I felt like that's what happened. I felt like Zverev played within himself. It wasn't a lot of unforced errors. There were a lot of winners. And Medvedev just could not break through. Because Medvedev, for people that aren't paying attention, Medvedev's game is very defensive. Can he hit some offensive shots? Absolutely. But he ain't a go toe-to-toe against another offensive player. His bet is I'll get one more ball back than you, and you will miss. But when that other person is not missing, Medi can take the L.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And there are certain players that will be able to hang with him in that regard. And because we even saw it with Salty Sinner. He ended up, taking him to a really tough 3-setter, 7-6 in the third. Again, he's all power. So he was pushing him. He was pushing him around and it got real tight at the end, but Medvedev was able to, to me, that was more of a mental thing than anything else. But yeah, there are, like you said, there are a couple of players out there that can, but the conditions have to be right. And to me, a fast hard court is where it's going to have to be that if you're going to get through Medi, because if it's just a regular hard court or even a slow hard court, you're going to struggle.
And, Miles, once again, is bringing up another point, which, I wasn't going to make a big deal about it because I don't think it played a huge role, but Medvedev did look a little tired. And I think for him, he's had a long season as well. And let's not forget, some of these guys, we're saying like the regular tour is kind of over, but Davis Cup is still out there.
That's true.
So some of them still aren't done. And Russia. We know Russia is coming for the team competitions.
Of course.
So, yeah. And by the way, we will cover Davis Cup. We probably just won't cover it in the episode, but follow us on social media. We'll be staying on top of it there. But
there you go.
Yeah, man. But once again, shout out to Zverev. Great win. And when you take out the number 1 and number 2 players in the world, you really earned it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're making a statement.
You are making a statement.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Yeah. So, again, not a fan of Zverev, but at the same time, he is really pushing his game to that next level. And I definitely would not be surprised if we saw him winning some potentially big titles next year.
Right. So anything you want to say in summary about the year? Now, listeners, as a reminder, either it'll be like the very end of this year or the very beginning of next year, we will do our annual BOT awards. So we're going to give you who we think really did it and who didn't do it in 2021. But not talking about the awards, but just your overall impressions of the 2021 season.
Yeah, for me, Bryce, I would say that it was a great recovery from 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Again, everything was all built around the pandemic. And I thought that even starting out the year at the Australian Open with all of the craziness that they had to deal with in order to just put that tournament on, I just feel like that the season has gotten better and better. There were some great competitive matches this year and just some great tennis, man. I think that people were really, really enjoying the tennis that we were given. And overall, just happy with what we saw. How about yourself, man? What's your review?
You know what this year represented for me?
What's that?
Represented, how do I put it? Tennis is going to be okay. This was a year that we didn't see. I'm going to say we didn't see a lot of the big three, even though we saw a lot of Djokovic. But, you didn't see a lot of Roger. You didn't see a lot of Rafa. Heck, you didn't see a lot of Team.
Right.
Right. You did have Djokovic in there. You didn't see a lot of the Williams sisters. And these are the names that have carried the tours for the last 20 years. And guess what? It was a great year. I mean, one of the best matches we had all year was that U.S. Open final between Raducanu and Fernandez. Now, who even 30 days before the U.S. Open would have predicted that the finals was going to be Raducanu and Fernandez? They wouldn't have even predicted that. So it's, for me, it was just kind of a like, 2021, tennis is going to be okay, even if we don't have the big three and we don't have the Williams sisters. So, so a couple of things. And Isaac, I don't know if you're on mute, but if that's intentional, I'll go ahead and roll with it. There are a couple of things that we have not talked about, and one in particular, and we know we haven't talked about it yet, and that is the King Richard film. We have some very exciting shows coming up for you all regarding the King Richard film. So we're not going to talk about it now because we're saving it all for those shows, and we're very excited to bring those to you. But the one thing that I do want to say is, if you have not seen it yet, please, please, please go see King Richard. And I'm going to tell you this too, not just having been a Williams sisters Richard fan. It has nothing to do with that. This is by far the best tennis movie I've ever seen. And I know that's a low bar. I mean, the tennis movies that have come out have really been pretty bad, in my opinion. And I think King Richard has set a new standard for the tennis, for a tennis movie, and how good it can be. And for those, and the cool thing is, I have followed the Williams sisters story since it was a story to follow. And the thing for me is, I love the fact that I felt like, even though I felt like I knew everything about the story, it was still revealing and it was still captivating. And, I hope several of the actors in this film get some sort of Oscar nomination. All I'm going to say is, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, whether you're going to the theaters or you're watching it on HBO Max at home. If you are a tennis fan, you have to watch this film.
Absolutely agree. And sorry about that, folks. Apparently I got kicked out, but I'm back now.
Back now.
And I agree. I heard the majority of what you said, my friend. And yes, that King Richard is just incredible. It gives you the feels. You'll get teared up.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, if you're a true tennis fan, and I mean, seriously, it'll move you, because that was, to me, a very, very touching film. And it was awesome that they were able to shed some light on the journey that the Williams sisters, and particularly Richard, have taken in order to get where they are. It was really great.
But like I said, we're going to stop there because we got King Richard content coming for you guys. So yeah,
that we do.
Yeah. So now, before we end, something else we have not talked about is clearly if you follow us on social media, over the last 10 days, we've been in Indian Wells for World Team Tennis. And it's been great. Now, granted, the crowds aren't there. You know, it's an off-season time in Indian Wells and all of that. But the tennis has been great. It has been amazing.
It has been.
The vibe there has been great. You've seen all the interviews we've done. Everybody's so just... We were... Isaac, tell the truth. We were actually sad when we left last night, right?
We were, because it was like we had gotten a great routine, seeing a lot of the people, you know, the folks in the media, the volunteers there, the DJ. I mean, we were making some really, really good contacts and just having a lot of fun with everybody on the grounds. And even the security group, I mean, as we were walking through the gate, they were like, y'all go on, just go. Y'all been here so much. We know you, go on. And that felt good. You know, that felt really good.
Well, and Isaac, this is what I wanted you to help me do. I made a little small list here of just some people that I want to give a shout out to, that we want to give a shout out to over those last 10 days we were there. And then just feel free to interject whatever you want to say about these people. You know, shout out to Dave, the announcer at World Team Tennis.
Dave,
that's a guy from Philly. Shout out to Doug over the camera crew. Just a great guy. Can't wait to work with him again. I don't even know if we have enough words for Grant.
Oh, yeah. See, no, we don't, because Grant is a baller, man. He is a young man who really, really stepped up and helped us and just with the interviews and everything that you saw, that was Grant right there. So he is our dude.
Yep. Yeah, he was over media.
Yes.
So he, you know, like Isaac said, all those interviews you saw, we probably wouldn't have had hardly any of those without him. So shout out to you, Grant. Isaac, I know you want to shout out Patricia and concessions.
Patricia, yeah, like I said, folks. Hey, you always got to know when somebody got food, man. So we was at the concessions, and our girl Patricia, she had great energy and was just always showing us love. So shout out, Miss Patricia. Yes, sir.
I want to personally shout out all 5 of the coaches of World Team Tennis: Kamal, Rick Leach, John Lloyd, J.L. DeJager, and our guy Luke Jensen. By the way, he'll be on the show, you guys. So you're gonna get all of that when he comes on the show. That was probably the best collection of coaches there could have been there.
Couldn't agree more, bro. Those are some outstanding gentlemen. Seriously.
Shout out to WTT employee Carlos, who also is a coach for Columbia Women's Tennis. Another guy who's going to be on our show.
That's right. Can't wait to get you on here, Carlos. Come on, man.
Right. Come on, man. Give me the shout out on Jeff.
Jeff. Oh, we love Jeff. Jeff is awesome, man.
He's a teaching pro, and he's going to be on the show as well. And he's got a little something extra he's going to be bringing out.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey is the dude, y'all. Just know he's got a lot that he's going to be bringing to the table. That is for sure.
And we're not going to even spend any time talking about Gerald. Just like y'all will know when it's time to know. All right. just a little bit later down the road, y'all gonna be like, "Oh, that's who Gerald was.
That's who Gerald was."
Hey, Gerald, we're looking at you. It's all good.
That's right.
I don't even have the words for our sisters on tennis.
Oh my goodness, Elisa and Angela, come on now.
Yeah. Though the accommodations, the hospitality, They are truly our sisters on tennis. There it is. I mean, they got it.
Absolutely. 100%, man. Just
right.
Awesome
Right.
ladies.
Linda Paulding.
Linda.
She taught us pickleball.
She did, y'all. It was hilarious. All I know is my knees was hurting the next day. I'm going to try and tell you.
Oh, my goodness. But we shot a full episode interview with her. So that,
yes,
I think that we're going to release that maybe next week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so
they don't have to wait too long for that. You know, our guy, you know him as David McShade, you know, that's our guy in the desert, even though he ain't gonna be in the desert too much longer. But, you know, just always a good time catching up with him. You know, when we talk about the people that are our honorary brothers on tennis, he is definitely one of them. So always good to see him. Isaac, yeah, your boy Will with the Doubles podcast.
That's right. Yeah. Will's a double specialist, guy out of, I believe it was Texas.
He was out of Texas. Yeah.
And just does a doubles podcast. Real nice gentleman. He was all over the doubles while we were there for the week. And good guy, real good guy.
Right. Isaac has already mentioned it. Danny, the DJ, look, we became real good friends when he started playing all that Michael Jackson and Prince.
Come on now.
We'll just say this. When we were walking out of the stadium for the last time, he saw we were walking out and he threw on Michael Jackson's Remember the Time. And it was like, okay, that's our guy right there. Right. That's our guy. Shout out to Hall of Fame legend Mark Woodford, who we didn't know was as cool as that.
Right? Hall of Famer, y'all. What? 17 doubles Grand Slams. Come on now.
He's coming on the show too, by the way. So,
by the way, just know this.
Right. Isaac, the last shout out that I had written down that I'm going to throw over to you, Sybil.
Oh, Sybil. Yes. So we got to frame up this story. So we're at the City Taste of Tennis event, and I'm talking to Bryce, and we were talking to Bill Riddle, who we got to also throw the shout out for. Come on.
Shout out to Bill Riddle, our new best friend in tennis,
new
right?
Best friend. That's our dude, y'all. Bill Riddle is the dude.
Right.
So we're talking to Bill Riddle, and Sloane's mother, Sybil, Sloane Stevens. Yes, that's Sloane. Her mother comes up. And so we're talking. I think I'm like, oh, well, she must be here just to talk to Bill because, you know, she don't know us. And so she was walking up and was just, you know, very politely trying not to be rude or anything. And so I was just like, yeah, no, go ahead. You know, thinking she's there to talk to Bill. She was just like, I just wanted to meet you guys and talking to us. I was like, what? You are Sloane Stevens' mama, Grand Slam champion Sloane Stevens. You want to talk to us? You want to meet us? You want to give us flowers? Come on now.
Yeah, that was really cool, man. She's such a sweet and genuine lady.
Wonderful.
It was amazing meeting her. So hopefully we'll engage with her many more times down the road. But that was a good moment.
That was beautiful moment.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure there's some people that we forgot.
Let's always make sure we're throwing that strong shout out to our city and AYS friends.
It hit me right. It hit me right when you said that. I was like, how can I not?
Yes,
look,
sir.
They know what they mean to us. Penny and Judy and Pablo and Brian and Richie. City Taste of Tennis.
Come on,
2022. AYS Sports Marketing. There you go.
Come on.
So we just wanted to not only shout out these people, but to let you all know that, you know, our Brothers on Tennis family is just really growing. And, you know, one of the things that I tell people all the time, I know, Isaac, you've heard me say this several times. What makes me most proud about the tennis community, Isaac and I were, you know, nobody knew us, you know, when we started this. And even without knowing us, when I talk about players, coaches, officials, sponsors, everybody has been so nice and welcoming and helpful. I mean, granted, we're going to keep it real with you. There are about 2 or 3 we got on the list, right? There's 2 or 3 we got on the list.
Right.
But of all the people we met, to only have 2 or 3 people that maybe didn't rock with us the way that we thought, they should have, everybody else has just been wonderful. And that makes me very proud to be a part of this sport where people are that generous and that welcoming and that loving. I don't know. What do you think, Isaac?
That's right. Oh, yeah. I mean, exactly. I just think that everyone has just been so, again, welcoming, just so friendly and so genuine, I think is the term that I would use is, no one's trying to put on airs or be a certain way. And it's the same with us. We bring in who we are to the table, and that's all we can do. We're not trying to fake the funk or do anything like that. We are bringing ourselves, and luckily it is being received in a very, very nice way. So I'm very happy.
Right. So, well, anyway, that concludes our shout outs for Indian Wells, and we will be back in Indian Wells in March when the tournament is normally scheduled. But in terms of our regular shows, Isaac, this is it for 2021.
Wrap it.
Hey, stay on the lookout for our interviews. We're going to start pumping those out here in a week or so, and I think you're going to really enjoy most of them.
Yes. All of them. What do you mean most? All of them. You will enjoy all of them. They're going to be excellent.
They'll enjoy them because we're going to make them good. But, exactly. People have, different interests. Like, I like this person more than that person. But you're right. They'll enjoy all of them,
Mm-hmm. They're going to be good, y'all. Trust us.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign off because we're going to go jump on IG real quick just to chat it up a little bit there. But thank you for rocking with us in 2021. On behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, have a wonderful New Year.